taking book.
I started it and never got the remote of the district.
We ready? All set? Okay, I will call the Wednesday, October 25th, 2023 special meeting of the Kickapoo Area School District Board of Education. To order, and we'll begin with roll call, Marla.
Isaac Wallace.
Here.
Rich James.
Here.
Peggy McCormick. Here. Bo Schrader.
Here.
Janet Mathis.
Here.
Earl Wallace.
Here.
Scott Walter.
Here. Affirmation of proof of publication of the agenda.
I, Kimberly Johnson, hereby certify that the notice of Kickapoo Area Schools, a special school board meeting was caused to be published in the Epitaph News on 10/12/23 and posted on billboards in the following places on 10/17/23. The Kickapoo K-12 School Building, Citizens First Bank of Viola, Viola Post Office, and our school website.
Thank you, Kim. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Isaac. No, second.
Motion by Isaac, second by Earl to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Audience visitors or board members, assuming there are no visitors, any board members have anything to? If not, we'll move on to the action agenda. Item A being the 23-24 district budget.
Motion to approve the 23-24 budget as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Isaac, second by Bo to approve the 23-24 budget. No discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item B, the 23-24 tax levy.
I'll make the motion to approve the tax levy.
Second.
Motion by Janet, second by Earl. With no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we discussed this just a bit, I think, last month, but van purchase, any information at this point?
We haven't gotten any further information at this point.
Okay. So no action at this time, but that'll come up again. And item D, updating health insurance regarding transgender services. There was a summary included in the packet. I assume everybody had a chance to read through, but essentially, policies such as ours have not included coverage for transgender individuals or those with sexual dysphoria, and that runs counter to federal law, discrimination, etc. issues. So we need to make a decision whether or not to include that or direct the insurance center to include it in our policy. Kim, I know you've dug into this quite a bit.
So I did, and I per the instruction to speak with leadership and legal counsel, I did reach out to our Shayna, our legal counsel, and she wanted some more information from them to advise against the risks or the benefits. So I did ask him the questions that she had requested, and it took him a while to respond, to which he said, you know, it's just really hard. This is some new legal stuff that was coming at them. And even though you're talking about 0.001% of the population, the cost can be definitely into the six figures. But advises you know that you don't really want to be that test case to be fighting against it. So yeah, we had those, three options to let Allegiance know that we do not wish to cover, that we want to cover immediately, which would protect us from any potential lawsuits. or to change coverage to January 1st probably.
And is it to include like, I guess
It
I'm not
included
sure exactly what,
what to say, but it includes,
like to have reassignment
yes,
surgeries and things
those
like that.
surgeries, any kind of medication
Medications.
for hormonal. It pretty much, I think, does the gamut. Our new, what they're offering as far as wording would be, as our plan administrator, I am instructing Allegiance to amend the plan document to include coverage outlined below with an effective date of, in whatever date we choose. I know that Allegiance has expressed concern that the effective date does not provide the 60 days advanced notice to participants required by PPACA regulations. I have, however, instructed Allegiance to implement my instructions and recognize that Kickapoo assumes responsibility for this change. And those changes would be to A, cover, to not cover, or to cover January 1st.
May I interject and just say something?
Yep.
I wouldn't normally do this, but just a reminder that even though we have the self-funded health insurance plan, which is why we're having the discussion about adding this, we do have that secondary coverage so that our claims on an individual can only go so high before that other coverage kicks in.
So they wouldn't, that kind of gets to what I was gonna ask. They're not gonna change our costs or anything
No.
because of this, or, and that's kind of what that gets to, is if our individual liability, our limit on individual policies and our umbrella limit stay the same. It really doesn't matter to us, and it sounded, if, I'm not a lawyer, so
Yeah.
I could have missed the point in some of that, but Title I funds and other funds would be in jeopardy if we say no.
Right.
And I don't, so how do you say no? You know, I mean, and I think that's what they're telling, that I got the impression they're saying you should cover it, even though it is only the 1%.
Right.
Because if we don't, we have to sign a hold harmless thing against them. So, you know, I don't know. And if Wisconsin, I don't know, goes the way of some other states and says, you know, gender affirming care for minors is not legal, well, if it isn't happening in Wisconsin, then, you know, I don't know that it matters one way or the other, but how do you say no? I don't know.
Well, the sentence in the summary that, just thinking in terms, not of this as a contentious social issue, but just in terms of the district,
Yeah.
that last sentence in the second paragraph, the penalty for non-compliance is per day per affected person on the plan, and a federal injunction forcing the plan to provide coverage, plus loss of any Title I funding.
Right.
So if you don't do it, you get penalized, you lose funding, and then they force you to do it anyway.
Right.
Right, so, hey,
That's kind of the way I read it, so.
yeah.
So would you want immediately then, or?
Then that's the only question, is it immediately or do we wait till January 1st?
And I guess if there's no cost,
There's no difference. You just
And
do
what,
it.
the advantage of waiting 60 days, that allows us to comply with what is the PPAA or something?
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
It's limited patient protection, affordability, health, something along those lines.
I guess I'll just jump in and make a motion that we add coverage for transgender and sexual dysphoria individuals effective January 1st, 2024.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
So does that meet the requirements of the law, though?
It will on January 1st.
I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but this seems like January 1st is not in accordance with this law.
It I think it has to do with that 60-day that if we do it immediately, then she signs the thing that says, I hold you harmless about not having the 60 days notice or something. So,
That's what you're worried about, Isaac, that not doing it immediately?
I just don't want to, don't open us up to an opportunity that,
He's just worried that if we wait until January 1st, that we could still lose the funding and stuff, right?
I mean,
Is
that's
that what
what
you're
it sounds like to
thinking?
me, but
That's a good point.
Because it's more than 60 days.
for the legal.
I don't
Is
know.
it gonna
I
make a
don't
difference
pretend
if it's
to think I
immediate
understand what-
to us?
Why we have to do this. This would be one of the times when, well, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't matter if we're self-insured, but this is where I want them at the insurance center to say, this is what our recommendation is, you should do this. And yes, we should hold them liable for their advice on things like that. But it's new territory for them too. And if Shayna had questions and then they took a while to answer them, you know it's new and they're calling lawyers
Yeah.
on their end, so.
It's very new, and he did say too, it's very difficult to answer that question. He said, we have asked 3 law firms, and they all have the same answer, which was, obviously they're,
Which are you more comfortable with, Kim? Waiting or doing it right away?
I don't really see the potential of anyone utilize,
That there would be a thing
somebody's
crop up
going
in
to,
these
on our
60 days.
insurance plan, go forward with any kind of.
And I don't know anything about the PPACA regulations. So if we don't wait 60 days, we're in violation of the
That.
PPACA. If we do, then we open
We're waiting
ourselves up.
60 days to follow the other law. I don't know.
Well, but I guess, back to my motion, if there's nobody that's gonna be seeking these services likely in the next 2 months.
Then there shouldn't be an issue.
Well, and even if they are seeking them, there's always an appeal process, and
Yeah.
we'll have it
It's gonna
active
take them
by
more
then,
than
so-
2 months to get it all started
do an
anyway.
appeal.
If you go
that's
to the
right.
doctor, it's gonna take them
Nobody's-
2
and
more
it's
2 months to get in.
Into the doctor. I don't really see a problem with waiting till the 1st of January.
Well,
I get the,
we have a motion, right? I moved, who's
I'll
opposed?
second.
So any further discussion? All in favor of extending coverage effective January 1st, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Rich, did you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard most of it, so you're extending the coverage as of 1 January.
yep,
Yep. Did you get a vote in there, though? I didn't hear.
yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't hear me, yep.
He
Okay.
didn't say no, I guess, so it's a yes.
Yep. So motion passes. And then the last item on the action agenda for tonight's meeting, a 3-year-old program. There's extra money from the Rural Low-Income Schools and Rural Education Achievement Program. Would like to have a Wednesday morning class with Mrs. Mueller.
Well, I'm confused.
Thursday.
I'm confused about that, yeah, it says Wednesday on this one, but on the explanation it says Thursday.
It's, Sam and I were kind of working things out, and so today we confirmed Thursday is the best day.
Okay.
So,
So
to line up.
Thursday.
And it's only a half a day,
It's only half a day, that's typically what they'll do for a 3-year-old.
so then our 4K, they don't come that day anyway.
No, actually, we're gonna bring in a sub. So that there'll be a substitute teacher with 4K with Miss Sarah. And then Mrs. Muller will be working with the 3-year-olds and the families and building that relationship there.
It sounds great. I'm wondering though, and it could be a, really good way to get people interested in you know, especially if they're thinking about going somewhere else, get them in here, but will they bring kids? I mean, if I'm working, how many of these are parents that are working outside the district, or even just working somewhere in the district? Are they gonna be able to get their kids in here and get them picked up and?
Right, so Sam went over to Lafarge to kind of see how they were running it. They have 11 students and 4 of those students are actually our kiddos, our district kids. And so we were thinking maybe they could get bused in and, you know, parents would have to pick them up at noon.
You're gonna bus 3-year-olds in the buses in the morning?
Well, maybe not. I don't know, they get them over to Lafarge without.
Do they do them on the bus,
They
or
bring
they
them
just
on the regular
drive?
bus?
I mean, Viroqua has an early childhood thing there, and the parents bring them and pick them up.
Yeah.
They don't,
I think
they don't bus any of them.
Well, for the
4
family, it would be
are
good if we bus them,
siblings.
but I mean, I think they're putting a lot on drivers now to have 3-year-olds riding.
So it would be up to the parents
To
to,
transport them,
Right.
that's fine.
Well, no, I'm not saying it should be that way, I'm just,
You're just wondering if people
I'm
will
just-
do it
yeah.
because
I think
they
our
have to.
prior-
transport.
I mean, but we don't know, we
practice.
just gotta do it. If we've got the money to do it, we should do it.
Yeah. Our prior practice, that the families, the parents would bring them in. So,
Well, yeah,
We
because
might be
we
missing
sometimes
kids.
have 3-year-olds that need special, I don't know how to.
Right.
That,
Special services.
services.
That's pretty young to be riding on a school bus
Yeah.
alone too.
Yeah,
Might be kind of scary.
especially if you have no older siblings.
no, yeah, right.
well, I think it's a great opportunity to, well, in the past, we've talked about a lot of the kindergartners coming in that don't have a background, a home life that's allowed them to learn the alphabet and
Right, and have that
letter,
exposure.
all that stuff, so this is a great chance to encourage.
Sam also commented even on the short summer stint that they have, how they quickly like learn the rules and, you know, basic colors and numbers and just,
That's great.
yeah, there's a lot less tears in the, when they're 4 and they come in
So they come for one morning a week,
one morning a week, yeah.
and this starts, when would we be able to start this?
November 30th?
Yeah, we could potentially start after Thanksgiving. We were trying to put days quickly together, do like an open house meeting, the families.
Sure.
Oh, great.
Can you send in almost 2? I'm just kidding.
So, and the child would have had to been 3 by the same.
By
like,
September
1st
1st,
cutoff.
yeah.
That's great. Money for it, we should do.
And then we're gonna check into, I had asked Megan, do you think there's a problem if they go to both Kickapoo and Lafarge, or if they're established somewhere, do they have to stay in one 3-year-old program? But they don't go into Skyward.
No,
You know,
and
we
they're not
don't
gonna be,
register
they're not
them as-
counted,
Right,
obviously. 'cause
they're not counted.
full.
So, yeah, we both thought it didn't matter if they would get 2 days. One
Probably be
school
good
and our
for 'em,
school.
Yeah.
What, it just says extra money, how much, what does this cost to run?
It's on that last page, right? Oh, no, that's just.
Yeah,
the
we
sub.
budgeted, and not that it would take, we were just kind of trying to estimate, I guess, 5,000.
Where do we do this?
We're gonna use the other kindergarten room that we're
Oh,
not
yeah.
using right now.
Yep. Forgot about that.
I think I planned for one dedicated sub pay and fringe for a half day every week for the rest of the school year when I came up with the figures.
So that's the total cost?
And then a little bit
6,000.
of materials in case you would need
Some colors.
Some, yeah.
Some paper.
different crafts or something.
This is, yeah, I mean, seems really cost effective, $6,000 for a program like that. Is it gonna be assessed at all, like outcomes? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Because it would, you know, this is dependent on some extra money, but if it's beneficial for these little
Right.
kids,
For this amount of money.
I'd love to build that into our budget and keep it going, but it'd be nice to justify that by seeing these kids went from here to here, or, you know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
When does ESSER money run out again?
This year,
September.
yeah. At the end of this year, it all has to be claimed by.
Because next year, we're also gonna have to figure out how to pay for 4K.
That's right.
We're still using ESSER
Yeah.
funds for that right now. Maybe we just have to have 4K become a voucher school.
Building on that,
Okay.
4K, like, would it be advantageous for us to, I don't know how you advertise that, but for families, say like in Viroqua and school districts near here, I don't think a lot of people know that we have kindergarten, or pre-K half the day and then the daycare, with Miss Sarah the other half. What a great thing for a family to say, wait, I don't have to leave work in the middle of the day, pick my child up
Mhm.
in, say, Viroqua, bring them back. Would that be advantageous for us to get that out there? Or maybe you already do
Yeah, no,
about
we
that
can
program,
add up.
I don't think a lot of people know about that, like,
Mhm.
for parents like that work, I mean, I think that's a big deal. And maybe that would entice them enough to get their foot in the door at Kickapoo, and then maybe stay there after that full year, that maybe never thought about it before.
Yeah,
So That would help
absolutely.
pay for it.
Great thought.
Last year, Sam and I were trying to work on a video that really shared our play-based learning. But the school year ended, so we will definitely do that and give them a full picture of what 4K is all
Yeah, I
about.
think that's awesome.
The full day.
Give me some flyers, I'll send them to the daycare.
Oh, yeah.
Send them to the other schools.
That's not a bad idea, to get some flyers and, I don't know how you get it out there to people, but
That's what you gotta figure out.
that's where you gotta.
I mean,
where do
I
you
subbed
reach?
at 7
But a lot-
schools, I could
and-
accidentally swipe them in some
There you go.
mailboxes.
And parents of 4-year-olds would be, young people, so some kind of something online that you can, young compared to.
Oh, yeah.
Young compared to me, let's put it that way.
Would the 3-year-old program be available to students outside the district?
Yes.
Awesome, so that's another way to pull them in. And let's get those 4 students back from the fire chief.
Yep.
I think for right now, that was a very good way to start it off. Would it be a problem if they went to both?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then let's make sure they see the pool while they're here. And when you have the parent meeting, make sure you show the physical facility.
Well,
So do we need a motion to approve that?
I'll second it.
who moved?
Isaac.
Isaac, motion by Isaac, second by Earl to approve the 3-year-old program. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Right.
And I'd like to note as we get ready to adjourn that that's 2 meetings in an hour and 17 minutes. That's
That's really good.
40 minutes each.
I make a motion to adjourn this special meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Peggy, second by Earl. To adjourn, vote with your feet.